However, one of the main things is sometimes you may want to watch it back later on. Now, the purpose of tonight's class is to go through an absolute basic introduction to the Google Classroom. Some of you may know bits and pieces, so for some of you this might be quite nice and go, oh yeah, I know how to do that, it's great. But for some of you who are brand new to it, I'd really advise if you watch tonight, have a play with it, and then maybe watch the video later on, because I am going to invite you to your own Google Classroom. And on there, I'm going to upload all my videos from all the other sessions that Beth and I have been part of. And I'm going to put some web links and bits and pieces for you. So there is going to be quite a lot of tools on there. Now, the intention tonight is to go through how to set up a Google Classroom, some of the basic features of the Google Classroom. Then we're going to look at setting assignments, setting modules, marking assignments, and I'm going to try and do it from two sides. So you can all see my screen hopefully at the moment. The one with the black tab across the top will be my teacher's screen. So this will always be from the perspective of the teacher. The one with the silver across the top, which is this one here, hopefully you can see it, is my student screen. So I've got logged in with two accounts. One is my teacher's account and one is going to be my fictitious student. So anything I do, I'll show you what it looks like for you as a teacher, and I'll show you what it looks like for the student. So if there's any issues, you'll be able to get around that. So let's get started. Now, for my classroom, I've got a few here running already, but I'm going to start one from absolute scratch, and that's for you guys tonight. So just to do that, all I do is I go to the top bit where it says create or join a class, and that's just this plus symbol here. Now, once I hit this plus symbol, because I'm the teacher, I'm going to go to create class. Now, this one here, this little logo, basically, because I'm not in a school or a university, it's completely free for me. I don't pay a subscription. So I just accept that. If you're doing this within a school, you'll already actually have this already set up. So you may not need to do this. I'm going to call this, I got to think of a collective term for you. Let's call you a murder. There we go, that's nice. And we're going to give this a section name of online learning. And well, I can put another section there. Now, what I normally say with people when they're setting up these classrooms is in these sections, you may want to have like a higher group, an intermediate group, or a foundation group, if that's how your classes are set up. So if you're running a maths class, you may want to have Wednesday maths higher group, Wednesday maths intermediate, and I can put that in this section here, subject. This is going to prove useful for later when I'm setting assignments and I'm differentiating them between my students. I also may want to share material that's suitable for some learners and not for others, but I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Room, again, if you're delivering this in the classroom and out of the classroom, I may want to put my class name. So there's my office, which is K44. Now, once that's done, what this creates isn't just a classroom. With any Google account, you have the Google Drive. Now, the Google Drive is a 15 gigabyte storage of online material. So when I'm creating this classroom, it will also create a partition in your Google Drive. So any work that's stored on here, anything I create on here, and anything that my students submit to my classroom instantly gets stored to my drive. The benefit of this for us as teachers is that we never lose work. Students will do work and they'll be able to have it saved to their classroom, so that's available for them. I will make sure the recording for this session is available on this class, so you'll all be actually part of this afterwards. So here we have my classroom. It's being created, again, very quickly. I can select themes, so when it says theme, I can give it, you know, if it's a math class, I may want to add a little mathematics theme, or if it's a sports class, I can add a sporting theme. It's just really if you just want to jazz it up for your own sort of style. So for different classes, you may want different themes. I also can upload photos. So if I've got one of the logo of where I work, I can upload a photo from my computer and put that there. So, you know, you may have a class photo you may want to put there instead of this blue banner. Now, this main screen, straight away, if we look at it, I always say to people, think of it like your Facebook or your Twitter accounts. It's a social media platform in which students can write on here, you can write back. Now, for some of you, that may not be the feature you want, and we can alter this within the settings. So now we've created this classroom, I'm going to look at some of the setting features. The settings are available using this cog here at the top right. If I left-hand click, it brings up the main details. Again, I can change the name if I want to. And here are my moderation settings. So the stream is that front page, and it's called a stream. It's where people post notes and stuff. I always think that the stream is kind of like that chat that you have, that discussion. If you think of your Facebook account, the stream is what you see on that main page. So at the moment, I can have it where students can post and comment, so they can put things on and they can share comments. I can have it where students can only comment. That means that the tutor can put stuff on there, but only my students can put little replies underneath. Or I can set it where only the teachers can post and comment. So it makes it more of the students just go on there to read information or submit their work or do their assignments. Now, because I want you guys to be using this quite a lot and sharing it amongst yourselves, I'm going to have it so you can post and comment. Notifications. Again, when somebody puts something on here, I get, as the tutor, it's automatically set up, I get a little notification in my email account, and it will say, you know, Joanne Reese has posted on the page, or she submitted her work. So I can have condensed notifications. So that just gives me a little thing saying something's been done on the page. Show attachment and details gives me a lot more detail, but it fills up your email inbox quite quickly. So I always say condensed notifications. Anything I delete, at the moment, I've now set it so only I can delete and view those items later on. And we're going to save that. So now I've got these settings in here, I've kind of set like the ground rules for my classroom. Now, if you are going to use this platform or you currently use it in your school, the number one thing I will always say to you is, before you even let students loose on it, is do that session on ground rules. You know, I'm not trying to teach you how to suck eggs here, but it's amazing how many times I've gone out and I've heard issues about students posting YouTube videos or things that are a little bit inappropriate on this page. So, and I say to the teacher, I say, well, what ground rules did you set? Oh, I didn't. Okay, well, that's going to be the first thing. Set it up as a session, and that will hopefully alleviate any sort of issues. Now, if I go to people at the top, this is where I'm going to invite my students. So one person's already joined in. So thank you, Rachel. I'm going to explain how you did that in a minute. So well, nicely done. But let's go through from the teacher's perspective. This first page here, the one thing I really love about this is it sets up as teachers and students. I'm the teacher at the moment, but I may want to add another teacher. So say, for example, I have Beth, and she is my teaching assistant, or she's another teacher in the classroom, or she's a support worker for a student in the room. I may want to add her to my class. That means that she can see the work that's happening. She can see a lot more of the details, and she can set work, and she can see students' work. So it's not just one teacher and the class. I can have multiple teachers and multiple students. Now, when you're adding people to this one, it has to be through a Gmail account or your school's email address. For the ones you're doing with me, I'll request from you, it has to be like a personal Gmail account. If you don't have one, set one up. They're very quick and very easy to use. I've got 8 which I use for different things, and that's number 1. So I can add students this way. I just go to invite students, and I'm going to type in the email address. And I've got, here's wrexhamlearner4@gmail.com. I can add another one. So to add another learner. And I've now added my 2 further students to this room. Now at the moment, they're in grey because all I've done is I've invited them. So let's go to my student screen and see what they see. So here we are. Hopefully now you should see the silver at the top. This is my student screen. And if they go to their Gmail account, what they'll see when they open up their email account is the invite. There we go. So you'll see class invitation, and it will say they've asked you to join, and all they do is they hit join. So once they've done that, it will sign them in to that classroom that I've now set up. And while it's doing that, let's go back to my teacher screen. And there we can now see that learner 4 has gone from being in a grey font because they weren't part of it to now being in the solid black font. And if we go back to my student screen, there we go. We can now see they're now part of that classroom there for me. So that's quite nice. Now, once a student is in my class, I can do quite a few things with this. I can select all of them in my classroom, and I can do a group email. I also have the ability to mute them. So if a student is being a particular nuisance on my online, and maybe I need to have a word with them about something they're posting, I can mute their account temporarily, go in, have that discussion with them face to face before unmuting them. It's one of the sessions there. I can also remove. What I can also do with the individual student is I can just hit those 3 dots and email them directly. And because this is connected through my Gmail account, by hitting email, it will take it straight to my Gmail account and it will set up my email for them. So I can then write an email and send that to them if need be. Now, a few people we may see have already logged in, Rianne, Beth, and Rachel, because there's 2 ways to join my classroom. If we go back to my main page, which I do just by hitting this Wednesday NEU, you'll see there's a class code. If I hit the display, and that's the class code. Now, the school's email address will work if the Google Classroom is set up through the school. I know a lot of schools have got their own email addresses, which are set up through Google. So therefore, they don't have at gmail.com, they have at their school. So I'd be asking your admin staff there about the Google Classroom, whether they have that available. Now, if we look at this classroom code here, what we do is we copy that. And let's go to another student. So I'm going to go to, let's open up another browser because I've got to have multiple browsers for this. And I'm going to go to Google Classroom. Oh, Bing. Don't ever use Bing, it's dreadful. So the other way of getting into the class, this is a 3rd student I have, is this plus symbol here. So same where I said create a classroom, by hitting that plus symbol, they can hit join class. And then all they do is they put that code in that I had on my main page, and then they hit join. So the 2 ways of getting the students in, I can do it as the teacher and I can add them, or I can share the classroom code with them and they can log in themselves. So there you can now see my student who used the classroom code is now part of that classroom. And I can see a few of you have already joined in. Remember, black at the top, this is my teacher's screen. Wow, this is actually quite a quick group. Normally I'm in hell doing this, so it's fantastic. So let's go back to my main page. Now, with this stream, if we look at this feature first, there's a few little bits and pieces here I can do. Let's go share something with your class. So on this page here, I can share maybe some basic notifications. So I can say, Do not forget to bring your permission slip for the school trip tomorrow. Again, once I post this, it stays on the page. Students get an email straight to them to say, by the way, there's a notification. Again, it also will go to if I have other teachers on my page or other support workers or anybody else I want part of my classroom. So everyone gets this message. But what I can also do is I can actually go, if I show you where that is again, all students, and I can actually select who I'm going to send this to. So maybe I only need to send it to a few students, kind of like a private message to them. I can set that. Now, I have at the moment, I have a number of classes I'm part of. So this is my murder. I have a wolf pack. I have a gang. I have a crew. I have a few gangs I'm running with at the moment. So what I can do here is where it says 4, I may want to send that to actually multiple classes. So if I have quite a few classes, I can send it. And this is why I said earlier, you may want to separate your classrooms for your higher group, your intermediate, and your foundation, but send the message to all of them. And this is how I can do that. So if I have 3 levels of learning, all in one class, I can still make sure they all get the same message. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of those guys. Just do it to you. There we go. Now, again, on this stream, I can either just post a message, but I can also add things to it. So maybe if I have a permission slip, I may want to add it via my Google Drive. So if I click on Google Drive, it may be a file I want to send to them. So there's a picture of my wife struggling during a triathlon, as you do. She'll appreciate that. So I may want to add a file that I have on here. So that's some of the things on there. I may want to add a link to a web page or a YouTube clip if I want to add a video clip to it. So hopefully you can still see the black screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, black font at the top. Brilliant. Thank you. Now, I can set this. I can either post it and it posts it straight away. So that means I can go out. Or if I hit this little arrow just down here, I can hit schedule. Now, the great thing with this, it means, say, for example, it's Friday, I'm just getting to the end, and I want to have something go out on very early Monday morning, like a reminder. So maybe I want this reminder to go to them at 7 a.m. on Monday for the school trip at 9 o'clock. I can set the announcement to actually go at that time of day. So I can say, right, I want it to go at 7 a.m. on the 22nd of June. And then I hit schedule. Now, the benefit of this means that you don't have to wake up ridiculously early to send a message to them all. It would automatically send it at that time, and they get that sort of thing that's available. What I can also do, I can also just save it as a draft. So if I save it as a draft, it means that I can go back to it and I can edit it, I can change it, I can add different features to it, and I can do it another time. Or I may want to just delete it. So there's quite a few things you can do with that stream. There we go. We've got Stephanie Williams, who's part of it. She's put a little thing on there. You can't do a repeated schedule send. That's a really great question there. It's only one schedule you can do for it. So if you want a constant reminder, you'd have to make sure you put it in there. You can add documents to your posts, definitely. So I will show how to do that again. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to show your power as a teacher. So Stephanie Williams, thank you for that. But I'm going to delete your comment because I'm heartless and I don't care. Okay, but that's how easy it is for you to delete that. Now, as you can see here, it's in gray. That means that you can't see it as students, but I can see it as a teacher. This is a good thing as well for if there are any potential comments which you want removed, but you want the evidence to be retained. I'm trying to put it as politely as I can as to what that may be. That's a good way of doing it. So it will stay there. Now again, I think somebody asked, can I add documents to it? Yes, you can. So let's go add, and I'm going to add file this time. So say, for example, I've got something on my computer. So let's minus a few screens down. Let's go to a document that's on my computer here. There we go. And I can drag it and I can drop it and put it straight onto the page. So I can share that to my post. So there's my document that I'm going to share with my classroom. So that's, you can do that. You can also do that with videos and other bits and pieces, and that's fine. A few questions coming in here. So children are notified via email. If they have an Android phone, which uses Google, I think Google phones, it comes up as like a little notification that they get. But yeah, it's generally email that it will come through on. So that's how that is done. Okay. Any other questions about that front page? Please put them all on there and I will happily answer them while I'm sat here. No? Okay, let's get started. So the next section I want to look at is setting classwork. So let's go to classwork. Again, everything is done, all of this top bit here. And I'm going to create an assignment. So I go to create. Now here I've got quite a few options as to what type of assignment or what I'm creating as classwork. So assignment means it is a marked piece of work. Quiz assignment is if I want to use Google Forms to make a test or a quiz for them. Question is literally just, it sends out a question to them. So I then can get their feedback. Material is if I want to share something with them. So if I look at something like material, say for example, I want to share a resource that's going to be useful for them throughout the rest of the year. So if I say this is a maths revision workbook, put a description in here. This document will be useful maths revision. I can then add it. So again, I can drag and drop it as a file. I can either take it from my Google Drive. So let's just, let's select it from my computer. So let's, I'm gonna find something now. Let's just pick anything at random. There, we can have that. So I can upload that. There we go. Now I've got a few options here as to what I can do with this. I can set this material work for multiple groups. So I don't just have to send it to one group of students. I can also set it again for specific students. So say if I only want to send it to 5 of you, I can do that. Now what you've also got here is this section here that says no topic. And we're going to create a topic. This will make sense in a minute as to what I'm doing here. With the topics, it will separate your classwork into specific module elements that you create. So say, for example, I'm going to call this Module 1 Fractions. Okay, happy with that. And I'm going to post this. So by posting this, what this has done straight away, as you can see here in my classwork, is it's now created a module for that work. Let's look at what our students see. We go back to our student screen. Let's click show. So here we can see Julian Ayres, tutor, has posted new material, Maths Revision Workbook. So they can now click on that. There's the document. The little comment from me, this document will be useful for your maths revision, refer to it for future exams. So they've got that available. Also, if they click on classwork now at the top, they'll see that there's a module. I've created a module for them. so they can come back at later stages throughout the year, because this is permanently saved for them. So if I have module 1, module 2, and so on, they can go back to it and they go, oh, there's my fractions work. This is the same as well when I'm setting assignments. So let's look at setting an assignment for them. I'm going to go to Create. I'm going to set an assignment. I'm going to call this one Fractions Worksheets. Complete the fractions tasks based on, you know, weird vegetable shops. You know, the ones where it's always like you have 5 watermelons and you want 3/5 of a watermelon. No one does that in real life. It's stupid. So I'm now going to set this. Again, I can add a file. So if it's a worksheet, I can set that for them, or I can hit create and I can actually make the worksheet already. And I'm going to show you how to make the worksheet in a minute. Now here on the right hand side, again, I can go where it says no topic, but I've already created this topic on fractions. So I can left hand click on that. It puts it into that section. So again, like I said, if I've got lots of modules on different topics, that assignment, that work will always be there because the students can refer back to it. Now, if this is a worksheet that has points tallied to it, say there are 10 questions, I can assign it a point setup. However, if it's unmarked, I can just leave it as unmarked, that's fine. I set the due date. So say it's due Monday. I can set a time, midnight. And again, I have the option there of setting it to specific students. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to assign it. With regards to setting the topics, you can't set the topics before. That's the one thing that I feel is a little bit daft with it. Even if I hit, oh yeah, you can, sorry. I'm talking rubbish here. Of course you can. You can set the topics beforehand. Thank you, Chris. Long day. So again, I can create as I go through. So let's put whole number calculations. Lovely. Thank you for that, Chris. Much appreciated. So I can add these here. Now what I can do is I can move them as well. And I just did that by dragging and dropping because that will really annoy me if they're not in the right order. So I can set the topics as I go along. So let's go back to our fractions worksheet. Again, I can click on that. I can see how many have handed in, how many have been assigned the work, and I can see who's viewed it. So this is my main page. Now what I'm going to do, if that's okay guys, is I'm going to go right back to the start and I'm going to run through that again because it was quite quick. So I'm going to go to Classwork, I go to Create, I go to Assignment, I give it a title, I put the instructions in there. It's always nice because that comes up on their email. So complete the 10 questions. Any problems, send me a message. I assign it a point total if there is a point total there. And then I set the due date and the time if there is a time. Again, under topic, I'm going to put it under the topic where it is. I'm going to put this on under module 2, whole number calculations. There we go. Again, under add, if there is a file I want to add with it, a worksheet, I can do that. What I can also do is I can add a link. So maybe if there is a BBC bite size website that will help them, I can add that to it. I can also add a YouTube video. So say, for example, I know, oh, there's a couple of good videos that will help them if they have any problems. Whole division. Let's quick search for one. There we go. I can add a YouTube video to help them. and then I hit assign. So what that's done now is it set that work. There it is. It's got the worksheet. It's got a couple of websites that will help them if need be, and they'll be able to use that whenever they want. Let's look at it from the student's point of view. So we've got my silver screen here because this is my student screen. I'm going to move that down. And we're going to see what they see. So straight away they can see there's a whole number calculation. They're going to click on that. Got the little question, and they're going to hit view assignment. So let's view assignment. Again, I haven't put that much detail here. This is why I'm saying put a little bit of detail in, and it's quite nice for them. They can see the point score. They can see some little websites that are going to help them. And there's two things I love about this on here. Class comments, they can put a little comment in there, which everyone can see. So who knows of any other good websites? And they can post that on the page. One of the things that we're really pushing, especially with the digital competency framework, is this idea of getting students to build their own little communities, not just relying on the teacher all the time to tell them the answer. If we're trying to push for critical thinking, this is a nice way of doing it. They also have the option here for private comments, and these comments are sent directly to the teacher. I'm really struggling with whole number division. Can you help after school on Thursday? The nice thing about doing this on here, and what you'll really notice, is that the students who are maybe sometimes a little bit afraid to come and ask you for help can do it a little bit like in a safe way. No one else sees that apart from you, the teacher, and the student who sent it. This one here, everyone can see. And I do like that because it kind of builds this community, which is really nice. Let's look at this here. They can add their work. So by hitting add or create, they can upload their work via file. They can create it new from scratch. And that's what I want to look at right now. So if they create new docs, that is Google's version of Microsoft Word. So by creating new from docs, what this does is it's three great tools. Firstly, it's created this file, which is automatically saved in the student's cloud, their storage device on the drive. It's also saved that work already in the teacher's classroom. So already right now, this work that the student is doing right this second, even if the student is away in a different town doing it, is automatically being saved. There are no more excuses for the dog ate my homework, because the second they start doing it, it's available. So great thing again, it's automatically saved. As soon as they start work, it will save it. It will also give the work a title, including the student's name and the name of the work. It automatically adds that for them. So they can just type this in. These are my answers. Helps if I can spell to the fraction questions. Blah, blah, blah. And they can add that in. Now, once they've done that, all they hit then is turn in. And that's at the top right. I'll just show you where that is again. There it is, turn in. So by hitting turn in, remember this is my student screen right now. It gives them another thing. Are you sure you want to turn in your work? Yes, I'm all done. Turn in. So the student has created the work online. They've submitted it online. And it's told them it's been turned in. So that's a nice little thing for them. They've remembered to submit their work. And they can go back now to their class, and that's absolutely fine. Let's look at it from the teacher's screen. So here we are, teacher's screen, black one at the top. and let's go to my work. So here it is, whole number division. There's a few questions popping up, which I will come to in a moment. So here I can go to, I can see one class comment. Brilliant. So that's the one that the student sent to everybody. Then if I hit view assignment, I can see who has handed in work. So there's my learner 4, which is me. I've handed in work. And I can also see the little comment that they've submitted to me. Now what I can do back to them, once they've submitted that there's that little private comment, I can send them a message back. Again, only myself and the student can see that comment at the same time. There's their work, and there's no mark yet so far. So let's have a look. I can click on that work, and what this does, this takes me to my teacher's screen. This is the work that the student has created, and I've got quite a few little windows here. Top right, I can add comments. So very much like Microsoft have the review thing. I can put great work, fantastic. I can add comments straight to the student. I can give them their mark, and then I can send it back. Some of you are probably going, I want to add a bit more detail. Don't worry, I will show you that in a minute. I then have a few options. I can return that submission, but sometimes they may have more than one piece of work. But I'm just going to return it. There we go. So by hitting returned, I can now, the student gets their mark, they get their grade straight away, and that's available for them. So there we go. Now it's put down as a draft because what I do is I wait till everybody is handed in, and then I return it to them. There we go. So that's now sent to my student. They have that work there. So let's have a look at some of the questions. There's a few sort of questions that pop up. There was one question someone asked, which was about, can we turn off comments during summer? Yeah, you can. To do that, again, just go back to your cog settings. And all I can do then is I can turn off only teachers can post or comment. And I can change that throughout. That's absolutely fine. If you've got one set up and you haven't done the module topic thing, can you change it? Yeah, of course you can. Exactly again, go back into Classwork, create my topics, and I can put them in that way. And then what I can do is I can actually move the work that's already there and drop it underneath that module. So say, for example, I had a long list and then I put the topics in. I just drag and drop with the left-hand button and put those sections in there. It's absolutely fine. Good question. Is there a way to assess class engagement, in particular, who's actually looked at the work? I can't see who has looked at it. If I go under people, it will only show me who is there. I did a session last week which looked at some video tools where you can create synchronous and asynchronous quizzing. So that might be a way to do that. So if you put a video on there, I'll put the video up of how I actually did that. There's a tool which can create those sorts of things. I find that with videos, if I put videos on, how do I know if someone's actually watched it? Well, I put questions there. Now, practical maths tasks. Are you able to draw on Google Docs? There's better tools for it, which I haven't got a great deal of time to do today, but I will, if I get the chance, I will put the video up of some of the software that Google has. But for that one, I'll be looking at Google Drawing, which is a tool where they can do those sorts of things on there. Can you add an emoji to accompany comments? Yes, you can, if you know them. So if we go, you just have to kind of go like that. That's as exciting as it gets, I'm afraid. I think that's the height of my emojis. So sorry about that one. Now, one of the things I asked about, I said, was about how if you wanted to add a bit more detail to your assessments. And I'm going to show you how to do that next. So let's go to create, and I'm going to create another assignment. So this one is going to be Romeo and Juliet's GCSE. So, what is your opinion of Romeo's infatuation? Can't spell infatuation. There we go. Now, this one here, I can actually create a rubric. If I go to rubric and create, I can set learning outcomes for this task. So say, for example, there are 3 learning outcomes for this question. So the first criterion may be spelling, punctuation, and grammar. And I can put the descriptor in there. Again, this may be something where if we're looking at you know, taking the national curriculum standards, I may want to put them in there as a reference for the students so they know what they're getting marked for. Why didn't I not achieve this mark? Well, this is what I'm marking you against. So this here, I put the criterion in, which is student has completed. I know who that is now, who's making that noise. Hunted you down, Claire's iPhone, wherever you are. Can you hear that thunder? Students have completed all work and SPAG is of a good standard. I can actually then set them marks for it. So say out of this, they get 5, 10 marks. Level title, again, that may be if you're referring to a set standard or a criteria, you may want to put that in there. I can then add another criteria. So say, for example, this is criterion 2, and this one is going to be for, I don't know, structure of writing. Writing follows a clear, coherent structure. A great day for spelling, aren't I? Again, I can add points to it, so they're going to get 10 points for that, and I can put codes in there for them. Now, once I've done that, all I hit then is save. And this has got great benefits in quite a few ways, because this rubric, once created, can be used over and over and over again. So if you have a generic rubric that you do use for maybe your writing or your mathematics task or science or art or drama or anything like that at all, you can bring this rubric up quite a few times. So let's set this task. I'll give it its due date. It's going to be in tomorrow at midnight. I'm going to put it under a new topic, which is going to be English literature. Now, what I can do as well from here, same as with the post, I can schedule when this assignment gets marked or when it gets set. So say, for example, I want to do all of the assignments for the class and I want to do them for the course of the year or course of 2 weeks. I can actually hit schedule and set when that assignment goes live. So I can do that. I can also save it as a draft. So say I've just started, I go, I need to find that video, I'll find it later and I'll add it later. I can save it as a draft and go back and edit it in. I'm just going to hit assign. And here we go. So there's my students' work. That's what I've set them, and that's the due date. Let's go to my student screen. So let's go to my student. There they are. They'll see that the stream has been updated. Fantastic. So let's look at this home screen just a little bit straight away. Some great things going on already, which is lovely. Rubric criteria points, you can set as many as you want, actually. So I think I've had up to 20 at one point, and that was far too many, so that was fine. As an adult tutor, do you have to include any Google Classroom references in lesson plans? It's always useful to have it there if you're working in adult education. But I've never kind of really referred to it in a lesson plan at all, so that's fine. So let's look at this home screen. Remember, this is where my students are. They can see there's a little diary here already. It tells me exactly when their due date is, what's assignment that's there. They can see the new assignment that's been set. And here, they can see that rubric. So they can go, oh, what do I have to achieve? Okay, that's what I want. That's how I'm going to get 10 points. So that rubric has been set for them. They can then do the work. So let's add it. And let's go, hey, I want to do a mathematics drawing document, because that's how you answer Romeo and Juliet for some reason. So they're now going to add this document, and they're going to use this. So for those that have not used Google Drawings before, it's basically the version of Publisher. So you can draw on here, and you can add pictures and bits and pieces, and you can play around with it. So that's available. So that's quite nice. If you're using manual maths, what will be good, Rianne, is I'll have a chat with you afterwards, if that's okay, because there's some other software that I think will be a lot clearer and better for it. Not that I'm bad-mouthing this. Now, again, because they created it using this tool, automatically saves it to their drive, and that's absolutely fine. If I mute the children on the stream, yes, they can still private message, and they can message on the tasks, that's fine. It just means they don't come up on that main front stream where everyone else can see. Let's turn in this work. They've turned it in. Lovely. Let's go to our teacher's screen. Here we are, our teacher's screen. I can see the classwork. Let's go to my Romeo and Juliet. There we go. I can see that 2 have handed in. I've assigned it to 28. 2 have handed in. Let's go to view assignment. I can see exactly who's well ahead. So Paul, well done. Paul's done some great work. There's my learner 4. And again, by clicking on their work, it takes me to the mark screen. The great thing here is it has this section. It tells me the rubric. It tells me what's marking. So I can then give them specific marks for specific areas. And underneath, I have my private comments where I can add a bit more detail if I want. So that's absolutely fine. This is great work. Keep it up. And then I can return. Well, I'll post that to that, and then I hit return. Lovely. So my student has got the work. They can see how I've graded it against that rubric. So later on, they can go, okay, well, that's how I didn't do it. And then I'm going to return that to the student. Again, if I want to give them more works, more comments, I can do that. It's absolutely fine. But I'm going to return that to my student. So now it says 1's handed in, 1's been marked. More people are starting to hand in homework that doesn't exist. And that's fine. Jane, great question. Hold fire. I'm going to blow your mind. So let's go back to my teacher's screen here. And let's say, for example, as someone has quite clearly stated, I've set an assignment and I don't want that assignment to go out. Hit the 3 dots. I can delete it straight away. I can also edit it and I can play around with it. So if I want to go back, I can do that. Now, someone's asked about, can I archive an assignment? It's automatically archived. If I hit create, I can reuse an assignment from any of my classes I've done in the entirety of my life on Google Classroom. So say, for example, I taught a digital literacy class on the 14th of August 2017. I can go back to an assignment I set there and I'm going to reuse it. There we go. So everything I do, and this is why I said at the start, everything instantly gets saved to your Google Drive. So here we go. I've got the assignment from 2017. And that'll include, if I added any YouTube videos, links, documents, anything like that at all, it automatically gets put in there. Someone else asked another question, which was, can I reuse the rubric? Do I have to rewrite it? You wait for this. I hit create. I hit, say for example, I'm going to set them a question this time. And the question I'm going to set them is, should we ban the use of petrol cars? There we go. So I just want to get their feedback. They can provide a short answer, or I can give them a multiple choice. I may want to put like a little poll in there for them. So it's yes, damn those gas guzzlers. Or I may want to put no, I like accent. Okay. Now, for this one here, that's just a basic question, and that will tell me the answers. I can also see that students can see the class summary, so they can see everybody's answer. Effectively, it's like a forum that I can create for them. Now, if I go back to create and I go to assignment, and I'm setting a task here, so let's put some details in. There we go. Put a due date in. Put it under a topic. Now, what you'll see here is where it says rubric. I hit plus rubric and I can reuse. Again, the awesome thing with this is when it says reuse, I can reuse it from any class I've ever taught. So say, for example, I want to take the rubric from my Thursday NEU crew online, and I want to use the rubric I set for that activity. I can preview it. So I can see and go, yep, I'm happy. That's the one that I wanted them to use, and I can select it. So once I've created a rubric, it's automatically able for me to go back and forth and reuse as much as I want. And that's the great thing about it. Now, again, I think I said at the start, once you create this class, it will automatically create a folder. Again, I'm under Classwork. I go Class Drive folder. And what this will take me to is my Google Drive. Now, under my Google Drive, I have 15 gigabytes of storage space. On a school account, I think you have 100 gigabytes. So it's a huge amount of space there for you. And you can see how automatically it's created folders for every assignment I've made. So here's my whole number, my Romeo and Juliet, and it shows me all the students' work that they have created. So I have my student work there automatically saved. I haven't even looked at these ones and it saved it for me. You can create a bank of rubrics, absolutely fine. Again, same as last time, just go back in, create the rubric and upload, and then that will be saved for you. So that's my Google Drive. I've also got my calendar. So if I hit Google Calendar, and this will show me all of the assignments I've set for each class and when they're to be handed in, as well as when it was the Queen's birthday and Battle of the Boyne. Important dates. Pupils, interesting question. I'm going to come to this one in a second. There's a few coming in now. So is there an easy way of creating worksheets? There is. We've run some classes using some of the Google tools on creating worksheets, which we may look at rerunning again in the future, or I'll see if I can get the video and make sure that's available for you. Someone's asked, can pupils write in a PDF file? They can't write in a PDF file, they can create a PDF file and they can submit a PDF file, but they can't write in one. What I would say is if you had a PDF file and you wanted them to write on it, you would need to convert it first. There are PDF tools out there available, you know, PDF to Word converters, PDF to doc.com, where you can instantly convert from a PDF to a Word file. Hopefully that kind of answers the question, and that kind of helps with that. That's the kind of basic introduction to using the Google Classroom. You're now part of this page, which means that I will put stuff on here, I will share it. But again, as we can already see here, I'm going to delete that one because that's a rubbish comment, Stephanie Williams. But that one there I will answer in a second at the end, if that's okay. Any questions you have, please put them in the chat box. We will be doing some more sessions later on. I think we've got some more coming up looking at quite a few of the bits and pieces that you've done, and you're asking about writing and voice typing tools. Yes, we've got some Welsh ones coming up as well if you want to. I've got a tool in which you speak in English and it translates subtitles in Welsh, and I'll show you how to use that. And what I would say is I'll just keep an eye on the NEU website, get in touch with Beth. Anything that comes up, I'll advertise on here. And we'll kind of go from there. Thank you so much for coming along tonight, guys. I'm going to be here for the next 5-10 minutes. I'm going to show someone wants to see about how to convert from a PDF document to Word. So I'll show you how to do that, and then I'll upload the video. If you have any questions, pop them in the box, and I'll happily answer them. So thank you so much for tonight, guys, and I'll see you all soon. Because I am spitting feathers. Okay, how to convert from a PDF to a Word document to writing. There's nothing worse than when people send PDFs. Okay, so let's. I'm going to take a PDF that I have. So if we take, let's find one that I've got. Find one that isn't a piece of student's work. Okay, so if I've got this PDF document here, is a journal article, and there's a website which is PDF to doc.com. What I'll do is I'll put this on the classroom page as well. So I'll put this in link. So I'll just put that on the page as well. But this website, what I can do is I can convert anything from a PDF to a doc file. DocX is the latest version of Word, a text file, JPEG, so on, bits and pieces. But if I want to convert it to a PDF to a docs file, I just drop the file on this page. So let's take one of my journals. I drag and I drop it on. What that does is it will convert it straight away for me. So it's just converting it right now. Now, what I will say, just as a quick note, you'll see these here. Anything with that little blue arrow and that cross there, do not go near. It's an advert, okay? It's an absolute pain in the backside. You'll end up, you know, either signing up to something indecent or you'll lose everything. It's this grey button here. Download. Or that one there, download all. And you can see what it's done now is it's taken that PDF and it's converted it to a Word file for me. And all I hit then is enable editing. So now, what was once a PDF file, I can now type in. So if you've got any forms, anything like that at all, or worksheets, and maybe you want to go in and you want to change them, you can do that using PDF to doc.com. So that's quite nice. That's available for you. Vivian, I have recorded this, don't worry. I was dreadful in the first half. I really improved in the second half, so you saw the best parts. For mathematics, there's a range of kind of different softwares out there, really, which I do quite like. For writing mathematics, I'm just trying to think. You got to hang on 2 seconds. I think Poplet allows you to do mathematics. I'm just going to double check. I'm trying to think. My head. I did a session on Poplet a while ago. Here we go. Yeah. Does it allow mathematics? No, I'm talking rubbish. If it's okay, what I'm going to do is I can't remember it straight away off the top of my head. There is a software which I looked at the other day, and it does allow mathematics symbols for worksheets and stuff. So that is on there. If it's okay, just give me a bit of time. I'll make a note of it, and I will put it on the Google Classroom page. I can't think of it right this second, so apologies. Any other questions at all, guys, please pop them in. Like I said, keep an eye on the NEU's website and where you kind of got access to this one, because we are putting on quite a few different sessions that are available. So thank you so much, guys.